Meanwhile, businesses in Durban have bore the brunt of disasters since 2020. That's when COVID-19 struck. The 2021 July unrest, 2022 April floods and the current load shedding crisis have all severely impacted the local economy. Businesses are now looking forward to the budget speech for some kind of financial relief. Let's unpack this leg of the story. Karinda Jagmohan joins us now live from the offices of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And Karinda, perhaps we can begin by just outlining some of the expectations there.
Indeed. Well, I'm joined by the president of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry to speak about their expectations, especially considering it's been a tough time in KwaZulu-Natal. Mr. Prasheen Miraj, sir, thanks for joining us. What are your expectations for the budget speech?
Yeah, good morning. I think for us, we're very clear. We have about 6 expectations. Then the first one revolves around an investor-friendly budget speech. We need to inspire investor confidence, because without investor confidence, we cannot have the investment required for infrastructure and job creation. Number 2, we want to see policy that leads to inclusive growth and development. Number 3, the infrastructure problem is one of our most worrying issues. So we want to see an infrastructure plan primarily around electricity, around roads, rail, water and sanitation. And by a plan we mean what's going to be done, by whom it's going to be done, by when it's going to be done, and most importantly, where's the funding coming from? From government, private sector, or combination of both. We want to see a temporary suspension in the fuel levies, because right now businesses and consumers cannot afford the fuel levy. We want to see limited fiscal intervention for state-owned enterprises, because the taxpayer cannot afford to continue to subsidize and reward state-owned enterprises that are bloated, inefficiently managed and poorly run. And lastly, we don't wish to see any increases in tax. We have a depressed economy, we have high interest rates, and I don't think anyone can afford any further tax increases. Those essentially are the 6 things we'd like to see coming out of the budget.
Certainly businesses are forking more out of their own pocket. You spoke about policy for infrastructure.
Yes.
Tell me about the challenges for Durban business.
Well, I think our foremost challenge is the electricity crisis. Because of load shedding, we're having to fork out money for solar panels, for battery energy storage systems, to burn diesel, and those are costs that were not budgeted for. And as a result, we are having to pay much more just to keep the lights on and keep businesses on, to keep business going. You know, especially those in the perishable goods sectors, they have stock that is going off, and and so on and so on. Those are the challenges around the electricity. Around the rail, we cannot get our goods in and out of the country, and we need a better rail system. Around the roads, it's highly congested, and it's causing inefficiency in the movement of goods. Lastly, for the Durban tourism sector, because of the water and sanitation problem, the high levels of E. coli in the ocean, our tourism sector has been decimated. So those are largely the challenge around infrastructure we're suffering as Durban businesses.
And then just lastly, in terms of Durban, we've got the largest port, but for example, Transnet has had mass strikes.
Yes.
What is some relief that we need in that sector?
I think in terms of, you can't really get relief from the port, except to say, let us have a plan with Transnet, let us work in a public-private partnership, in a cooperative and collaborative manner. What can we do to help alleviate Transnet's problems? Because their problems are many. And for me, public-private partnerships are the way to go to help Transnet out. There's no other way. There's no quick win. Infrastructure, network industries like transport, there's no quick win. There's engagement, there must be trust, most importantly.
Sir, thank you so much for your time. This is Mr. Prasheen Miraj. He's the president of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry, outlining 6 important expectations from the Durban side, the KZN side, essentially looking at fuel levies, looking at an expectation of no increase in tariffs as well, and most importantly, a budget for maintaining and repairing especially infrastructure here in Durban. We know these issues all too well. Back to you, Ayanda.
We certainly do. Karinda Jagmohan, live to us there from Durban in KZN. Thanks very much indeed.